This is Pedro from Pythalista with one more video. In this video, in the next 4 videos, so that's gonna be a 4-part video, I'm gonna to go step by step and build a backend Django Rest API. So part 1, I'm just gonna create the app and create a basic CRUD app that I'm gonna register just friends. So in part 2, I'm gonna add a Swagger front end. So that's gonna look like Fast API. And on the part 3, I'm just gonna add a foreign key just to make sure that only you can create friends to users. And I'm gonna add a few permissions to just allow users to delete their own friends, delete, alter, and whenever there is a new addition of a friend, so only that authenticated user will have that permission. And lastly, I'm gonna create like functionality like to add new users, to change password, and also change the email for a particular user, and all of that with permissions. So let's get started. So I'm gonna use a lot. I have already the code. This code I basically read the basic of Django in the documentation and on the REST framework with some experience that I have. And I also use ChatGPT a lot. I'm using GitHub Copilot, but I already have the code. I've tested. It's all working. I'm kind of like code along and copy and paste that code in those 4 parts. So let's get started. So I'm here on my terminal. I'm using Linux, and all these commands will work for Linux or Mac. If you have Windows, I'm sorry. So I have videos here that I teach you how to set up WSL Linux virtual machine on your Windows machine, and then you can code it along. I'll put the link on the description. So I'll give you step by step. So I'm here on the terminal, on the Linux terminal. So first thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a Python. First line, I'm gonna create a folder. And open VS Code. Okay, I'm now here in VS Code. I'm gonna create a Python virtual environment, and I'm also assuming that you have Python installed on your machine on this WSL, and I also teach on how to do it. I'll put the link on the description. So for creating a virtual environment, so if you're watching this video, probably you know about Django, but I'll give you a brief explanation. Django is a web framework written in Python, and it's a framework that people say that comes with batteries included, because when you create a Django project, it creates like a boilerplate of everything that you need, like administration, database, and it's pretty easy to get something up and running. So once you install the Django, you have to create a project. So it's Django admin start project. I'm gonna call it friends. And once you run this command, it creates all those files here. So that it's not very useful. You have to create an application where you're gonna have your views, which is your HTTP endpoints, and your models, which is your data model that you're gonna have on your application. I'm gonna go through them, so don't get desperate, and I'm just gonna go step by step that you can follow along. So let's cd into the friends folder, which is the project that I've created, but I need to create an application within this project. So just to have an idea of what is this app is just an app that's gonna register my friends list. All right, so let's say I wanted to register their name, the email, and their telephone number. All right, once I do that, another folder is created inside the friends folder called friends list. So these are the templates. So the difference is that the Friends app has got the settings where I'm gonna put all the settings. There's a lot of things that I don't have time to go through. I'm just gonna write the essential code to make this application work. Now, to just launch the server, I have this command here. Make sure that you are on the folder where you have this manage.py file. And then if I do a Python manage.py and then put run server, that's gonna start a new server. So there's a warning here that I haven't done the migrations here, but just to run the server, you don't need those. And I open the browser and my application is working. So let's close it. Let's go back here. Stop the server is Control C. Then I'll just run the migrations. So to make sure that the database and the tables are created. For that, I do the same, run the same file, which is the manage. And then I do migrate. So that created all the administrative tables for my Django application. If I run the server again, so it's not going to complain about those migrations. And now what I can have access to is to the administration, but I don't have any users. So I need to create a new user. Let's create one. Let's stop the server and create the user. To create a user, you use Python again, and then manage.py, and then you type the command create super user. And then it's gonna prompt for the username. I'm just gonna put my name, my first name and last name as my username. And my email, I'm just gonna put a fake one here. This email doesn't exist. Don't try to write me any email. And then he need to create a password. And then retype. So was created successfully. Now, if I run the server again and try to log in on the admin router, and then I can log in. All right, I can log in. So let's start writing some code. I'll stop the server again. For that, I need to go and first write my model. So on the model, so I'm gonna probably to make things quicker. So I need to create a model. I create like a class. Yeah, I'm using ChatGPT to help me, and I'm gonna have like name, email, and instead of phone, I'm just gonna call mobile, and then I'm just gonna delete those two. So that's the class of that's gonna go a table in my database that's gonna have those fields. The stir method is the method that's gonna print out in the REPL when I call my instance of that class. I'll demonstrate that in the terminal very soon. Let's just add something like it's gonna print the name and the email just to say that's my representation of that class. So that's the first thing. Now I have to create something. I think that's enough for now. So I'm not going to have any view. I need now to migrate that. Okay, I need to install the app. So I need to go here to friends settings, and then I go install apps, and then I'm just gonna add that one, which is, yeah, friends list. Close that, and then I'm just gonna try to run the make migrations. Now worked, and then I have to migrate. Let's do it. All right, the table is created. I'm just gonna add some records in this database, and I'm gonna go through the Django shell. So we go Python manage.py and then write shell. So now I'm gonna import from friends list, which is my module there, and then I'm gonna import models. Sorry. From friends list, import models. Now I'm gonna create a friend. So this friend is gonna be from the object models and friend, that's the class. And then this class will have attribute name. I'm gonna call it myself. Let's say Pedro. Now let's gonna put another name. Let's put John Doe. That's my friend. And then he has an email, which is john@email.com. And also he has a telephone number, like a mobile. And that's gonna be, let's put an Australian kind of email, telephone number. And then that's it. And then if I put friend, that's gonna print out John Doe, that's his email. But if I wanted to save that to the database, I just put friend, save, like this. So that's got saved in the database. Let's create another friend. But now it's gonna call, let's call it Antonio Doe. And then it's gonna be Antonio. And mobile, I'm just gonna change the last 4 numbers. And then that's it. And then I'm just gonna save it. And now let's query this database. I can create a instance here of called friends of that same models, friend, and then I go object, and then I think I put all, let's see, and then if I do friends, that's gonna be John Doe and Antonio. So I'm querying the database. So this here, it's called ORM, or Object Relational Map. I have a video that I go and explain that. I don't use Django. I think I use SQL Alchemy on that one, but the idea is the same. So let's write our REST API now with what we call CRUD operations, which is how we wanted to be able to create a new friend, update, read, and delete. Okay, let's exit the terminal. Cool. For that, I will need to install a new library, which is Django Rest framework. So I'm just, with serialize, it's like a way to validate the data that's coming into my API to make sure that I'm accepting only valid data. It's like, if you know Django, it's work like a form validation. So let's create a file inside friends list called serializers. And before I forget, let's go to settings and then install the REST framework. Thank you, ChatGPT. So on the serializers, I'm gonna create a serializer for the users. On top, I'm gonna import the model friend that I'm gonna serialize, and then I'm gonna create that serializer. And then when you see in action, we'll understand better. So I have here, I'm using the model that's friend, and then that's the fields for the serializer that I'm gonna check. And then I have read-only fields, which is user, right? So next, I'm ready now to create a API. I'm gonna create another file that's I'm gonna call API, which is where I'm gonna write the views. All right. So on the API, I'm just gonna copy the code and I'll explain line by line. Kind of. It's only 42 lines. So I'm just importing here some libraries, but it's important that I'm importing the serialize and the model. So I have a class which is friend list, which is gonna just list all the friend that's on the database, and I have a friend detail, which is going to have the get method just to that specific user. The put method, that's gonna be to update that new user. All right, I'm having the friends list, but the friends list, I'm just gonna move the put method to the, no, the put, just gonna delete that. I need to add a post method for friends list. Okay, I think that's gonna work. So that's the get method, it's gonna get all the users. The post method, it's gonna add a new user. And the friends detail are going to just get the detail of a particular user that's on the database, which is gonna have a get method, a delete method, and then I think they need to have a put method. Sorry, which is gonna update the user. I think that one I needed. So, and then the way it works is you have this API class that it inherits, and then whatever you call the method, that's gonna be the endpoint. So that's gonna accept only get. This is gonna accept only put, and everything first it gets the object. Make sure that it's serialized and then return, and then the many means that there is more than one object here. And on the post, check if the incoming request is valid, and if it's valid, it's gonna create a new user. And I'm just gonna remove that part here because this is for a later version of the API. And if it's saved, it's gonna return status 201. And the friends detail is the same, put is correct. Yeah, so let's now wire everything up in the URLs. So let's create a URL for the application. So let's go here and write URLs .py and then paste it. So I'm gonna have that friends router to get all the friends list, and then that also is going to be used to post a new friend. and then the friend slash the ID or the primary key of the data in the database is going to be passed here, right? And lastly, let's go to the main project friends here on the URLs and wire up all the URLs from the application. And I just need to import this include object class here. And then I think with that, my application should work. Let's do a Python manage.py run server. And then if I go to the field user, okay, I know what it is. Let's fix it. So the field user on the serializers is not existent. So let's try again. Friends. Right, so that's the two guys that I've added. So let's try to query like friend 1. So friend 2. Cool. Let's use now Postman to do the other changes, because yeah, now it's working. Okay, cool. It's getting the here, but let's say if I put 1, just get 1, 2, doesn't exist, 2, it's working. So let's try the method now. Let's add a new friend. So post friend. I'm just gonna, don't need ID. To add a new friend, I'm just going back to the application here. I have this post method, so which I need to send a new friend. So let's go to the postman. It's a post method to the friends endpoint. Just like to recap. So if I go to URLs, I'm associating that friends endpoint to the friends list view. So which is that one, right? And then the method post is here, right? And then on the body, I need to pass those 3, which is required. The created ad and updated ad, it's automated. So let's go to the body. And I need curly braces. Just gonna fix that one. Open and close. Yeah, so I'm posting. I don't need to be authenticated. So the new friend is gonna be, let's give a name for Lucy. Let's get a girl's name, Lucy Doe. So Lucy, and telephone number, let's change that to whatever. Let's see if it works. Send. Yeah, so ID 3 is working. If I go to the friends 3, let's get, so 3. If I query all the friends, okay, so let's say that we wanted to change the Anthony email, and then I have to go to the friends detail, put, and then, so I'm just explaining now. So if I go to that URL, so I pass that pk here, which is an integer that is passed to the method here. If you, so it passed the pk, passes the method that passes to the function, and then brings the friend and then do the change. Go, let's go and make put. I wanted to change Lucy, which is, now let's change number 2, which is Anthony Doe. The name is not going to change. I'm just gonna change the email, okay? and in mobile keeps the same. Let's see if it works. Probably it's gonna give me an error, but let's put, because I think you need to pass all the fields. Anthony, I call it new email. Just make it clear. Let's send. No, yeah, I need to pass other fields. So let's get, I don't think I need ID, but I'm not going to fix this right now, just for a demo. Those two I don't need. Let's put Antonia, new email. And then that should work. ID I don't need. Let's send. It should be put. Yeah, friends too. What's wrong? Let me see if it's. Oh yeah, I know what it is. I need a slash here. Yeah, so that's it. Let's now test the last method, and then this video is done, which is the delete. So let's change, let's delete the John Doe, right? So delete, I don't need to pass anything, and delete. Yeah, again, same error. Yeah, I think it's deleted. Let's try to get. It's gonna be not found. And then if I get all the friends, it's going to be just 1 and 3. All right, so that's it for today. The video, that's the part 1. So the part 2, I'm gonna create a foreign key, and stay tuned. This one was a bit longer than I thought because I had to give a little bit of a background. I'm gonna push this code. I'm going to push this code to GitHub so you can have a look and write the code up to this part, and look. And I hope to see you in part 2, 3, and 4. Again, thanks for watching.